Looking for the best motherboard to pair with the GeForce RTX 4070? The RTX 4070 is Nvidia's current generation mid-range GPU that offers a flagship level of gaming and productivity performance similar to their previous generation RTX 3080 and 3090, while costing half as much as those cards and also consuming half as much power. In this video, I've done an extensive review of the top AMD and then the top Intel motherboards for RTX 4070 and rated them according to VRM design, features, aesthetics, and value for money. Price information and all motherboards mentioned in the video are available in the description. So let's get started. Number 3. MSI Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi. Best budget AMD motherboard to pair with the Nvidia GeForce RTX 4070. Starting with our budget option, I recommend pairing the RTX 4070 with any of AMD's Zen 3 6-core CPUs like the Ryzen 5 5500, 5600, 5600G, or the 5600X. All of these are 6-core, 12-thread CPUs that punch a lot above their weight and are excellent for gaming and productivity for those who don't have a lot of cash to spare. To pair these 6-core CPUs and the RTX 4070, I chose the MSI Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi, a powerhouse of a motherboard that is perfect for any low-cost AM4 setup. This motherboard will surprise you the more you look at its features because its unassuming design makes it seem like a bottom-of-the-barrel choice for penny pinchers. The only thing that could potentially hold this motherboard back is its extremely modest VRM configuration, which is just a 4+2 phase setup. Even then, I wouldn't worry about it since it can easily handle even the Ryzen 5 5800X3D, which is the best gaming CPU on the AM4 socket. I just wouldn't put anything more demanding, like the 12-core Ryzen 9 5900X. Beyond that, it has a decent heatsink to ensure that the CPU never throttles because the VRMs are always under 70 degrees Celsius. The reason why MSI configured the Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi like this is because it is actually a business-grade motherboard. Thanks to being a business-grade motherboard, the focus is solely on having as many features as possible while toning down the VRM setup because no one expects to overclock on a standard office motherboard. This also explains the muted black aesthetics of the motherboard that help it blend in any PC. It has 4 DDR4 RAM slots instead of the usual 2 slots on other budget micro ATX boards, and it can handle a total of 128 GB RAM, with MSI claiming that the Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi can overclock the RAM to 4400 MHz. On top of that, there is one M2 slot for a PCIe 4.0 NVMe SSD, and for more storage, there are 8 SATA 3 ports. The I/O is excellent considering the price of this board. It features 6 USB Type-A ports, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1, and 2 USB 2.0 for peripherals. Gigabit Ethernet, basic 3 audio jacks, HDMI 2.1, and DisplayPort 1.4. I like this trend with budget boards that offer ports for much older devices. The board also offers a VGA and PS2 port, yet at the same time it is one of the most affordable motherboards to offer Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2 support out of the box. It even has a BIOS flashback button, which makes life so much easier when updating the BIOS without having to plug everything including a known compatible CPU. The I/O alone makes it incredibly versatile. But the real versatility of this board is thanks to having 4 full-size PCIe connectors. This means that after the GPU, like the RX 6800, takes the top PCIe 4.0 slot, the rest of the PCIe 3.0x16 slots can be used for other high-speed devices. This is strange to me as most manufacturers usually only include a couple of full-sized PCIe slots, while the rest are ×1 or ×4 slots. Yet, here we see MSI letting all the PCIe slots be full-size ×16 slots. If we take a look at some of the budget alternatives, it is useless to consider any A320, A520, or B450 board, since these chipsets lack plenty of features like overclocking and PCIe 4.0 support. This leaves us with other B550 boards, but the only board that comes close to offering the same level of features as the MSI Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi is the GIGABYTE B550 UDAC. This is an excellent alternative for those looking for an ATX board with similar features as the MSI Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi, but it costs significantly more and being larger means that it is not versatile enough to be used in smaller micro ATX cases. In conclusion, the MSI Pro B550M VC Wi-Fi is a professional-grade motherboard that delivers versatility without compromise, making it an optimal choice for budget-conscious enthusiasts and business users alike. Despite a basic VRM setup, it does not lack anything else and can rival boards twice its price in terms of features. Number 2. ASRock X670E Steel Legend. Best premium AMD motherboard to pair with an Nvidia GeForce RTX 4070. I'd say that ASRock is pretty bold to call this motherboard a legend, but I don't think they're quite off on that, and that's why the ASRock X670E Steel Legend is my pick for the best premium motherboard for the RTX 4070. What makes this one of the best affordable motherboards available in the market is that this board is complete with all the necessities. It has an excellent VRM design, 16+2+1 phase at 60 amp, so running even the 7950X at high clocks won't be an issue. A rather rare feature of the Steel Legend is its two Ethernet ports, one being 1 GB and the other 2 GB. This board also comes with an insane number of USB ports. I counted a total of 12 at the back, with support for 5 more in the front. Perhaps my favorite feature of this motherboard is the inclusion of a graphics card holder. This included holder is perfect even for giant GPUs like the RX 7900 XTX or the RTX 4090, so that they don't sag. I wish more vendors included this nowadays. This is truly the best value seeker's board. Reliable power delivery, sturdy board design, overloaded with features, and an excellent price to match. What more can one want? For around the price of the ASRock X670E Steel Legend, the other boards I considered that offer a similar experience are the GIGABYTE X670 Gaming XAX and the MSI Pro X670P Wi-Fi. I also saw a handful of boards from Asus and ASRock themselves. In the end, I went with the ASRock X670E Steel Legend over the other affordable X670 boards. All of these boards can comfortably supply power even to the most demanding Ryzen processor and the RTX 4070, but it came down to features. Unlike the Steel Legend, most boards in this price range don't offer Gen 5 support on the x16 slot. All in all, I needed a board that would yield the most value. At the end, I really wanted to recommend the GIGABYTE X670 Gaming XAX. However, right now, the price of the Steel Legend is just $30 more than the Gaming X, and it overshadows the Gaming X in terms of features. Number 1. GIGABYTE B650 AORUS Elite AX, our top choice. GIGABYTE B650 AORUS Elite AX is the ultimate value for money motherboard to pair with the Nvidia GeForce RTX 4070. This board delivers a fantastic performance, expansion capabilities, and a sleek design without breaking the bank. So if you're looking for the perfect motherboard for your RTX 4070, this motherboard should be at the top of your list. Let's see why. The board boasts a powerful 14+2+1 twin-phase VRM design, with 2 parallel sets of 7 phases, ensuring smooth and stable power delivery to your CPU. B650 AORUS Elite AX is engineered to handle high-end processors like the Ryzen 7 7800X3D without a sweat. Its robust thermal design includes an 8-layer PCB, 2-ounce thickened copper, massive heat sinks, and a 6mm mega heat pipe. All these work together to maintain optimal temperatures even under heavy loads. Additionally, a 7 watt per meter Kelvin thermal pad efficiently conducts heat away from the VRMs, ensuring stability and longevity. Moreover, the board has a user-friendly BIOS interface, making it easy to fine-tune settings and overclock your CPU and memory. Regarding storage and expansion, the B650 AORUS Elite AX excels. It offers 3 M2 slots and 4 SATA 6GB per second ports, providing ample room for your SSD and HDD. The board shines when it comes to memory support. It accommodates DDR5 memory speeds up to 6600 MHz with a maximum capacity of 128 GB, making it future-proof and ready for heavy multitasking. The connectivity options are also impressive, with 7 front and 12 rear USB ports, including Type-C connectors on both the front and rear panels. This number of USB ports ensures that you'll have plenty of room for all your peripherals and external devices. Furthermore, the board comes equipped with AMD Wi-Fi 6E, Realtek 2.5 Gigabit Ether LAN chip, and Bluetooth 5.2, providing seamless networking capabilities and enhancing your online experience. Regarding aesthetics, the B650 AORUS Elite AX maintains a sleek, minimalistic design, The contrast between the black PCB and the gray heat sinks make the board appear menacing. A touch of RGB lighting on the chipset cover adds flair without being overwhelming, making it a great choice for those who prefer a subtle look. For future-proof, this board is also a wise choice. Its support for the latest DDR5 memory and PCIe 5.0 standards ensures that it will remain relevant for quite a while. Overall, compared to similar motherboards, the GIGABYTE B650 AORUS Elite AX offers an unbeatable price-to-performance ratio, making it a top choice for budget-conscious buyers who want to build a powerful but affordable PC, and that makes it a great pair for the RTX 4070. Before moving to my picks for Intel motherboards, it would really help us continue making more videos if you support us by just hitting the like button and subscribe, or even with a comment, so that we know if you like it, or if there's something we can do to improve next time. I promise it costs nothing, just a few seconds. So now let's see which are the top 3 Intel motherboards to pair with the Nvidia GeForce RTX 4070. Number 3, MSI B760 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. Best budget Intel motherboard to pair with the Nvidia GeForce RTX 4070. MSI B760 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi is something like a Swiss Army knife in the world of motherboards, since while MSI targets this board towards gamers, its nature is more like a budget workstation motherboard. Starting with the VRMs, MSI has done an excellent job. The motherboard has strong VRMs capable of powering Intel 12th to 14th gen CPUs effortlessly. With a 12-phase setup at 60 amps, it can handle an Intel Core i9-14900K at stock settings. If it weren't a B760 motherboard, I would have comfortably overclocked an i5 14600K beyond 5.3 GHz, thanks to the beefy VRM. The strong VRM is coupled with an excellent heatsink that keeps temperatures below 70 degrees Celsius even under heavy all-core loads. The rear I/O is excellent, but I feel there could be some improvements. There are a total of 7 USB ports at the back, with 4 of them being USB 2.0 Type A ports, which means you don't have to sacrifice faster ports to run peripherals. But then there are just 3 USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, of which 2 are Type A and 1 is a Type C port. MSI should have added more USB 3.2 ports, but even with that out of the way, the rest of the I/O is near perfect. You get HDMI 2.1, DisplayPort 1.4, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, 2.5 gigabit Ether LAN, and even a PS2 port for legacy devices. The rear I/O has a full set of 5 audio jacks with an optical SPDIF connected to a mid-ranged Realtek ALC 897 codec for good sound quality. When it comes to the design, the board has a premium look and feel, but the design itself is quite simple. Personally, I like the design because the simple look helps the motherboard fit in any PC without bringing any attention to itself. If you're a fan of RGB, you can always use the RGB headers to connect as many lights as you'd like. When it comes to the competition, there are plenty of great options to choose from when looking for a budget motherboard to pair with an Nvidia GeForce RTX 4070. The best alternative is probably the GIGABYTE B760 AORUS Elite AX, as it offers very similar features to the MSI B760 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. The AORUS Elite AX also has a 12-phase VRM and a couple more USB 3 Type A ports, but the B760 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi has 5 audio jacks with SPDIF, instead of the AORUS Elite that has 2 jacks with SPDIF. Except for that, while the AORUS Elite has 2 more M2 slots, it costs much more than the MSI Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. At that point, it makes more sense to invest in a budget Z790 board instead of a high-end B760 board. In conclusion, the MSI B760 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi wins over all B760 boards in terms of value. You get a powerful VRM, plenty of PCIe expansion, and a great I/O to cover all your needs. It is reliable and a very easy motherboard to recommend to anyone who wants to build a powerful Intel Alder Lake or Raptor Lake with the Nvidia GeForce RTX 4070 on a budget. Number 2, ASRock Z790 Nova Wi-Fi. Best premium Intel motherboard to pair with the Nvidia GeForce RTX 4070. The ASRock Z790 Nova Wi-Fi is a motherboard that other premium boards should aspire to be like. It's fitted with all the features of a premium high-end board, but without charging an excessive amount of money for them. The power delivery system is simply top-notch. The ASRock Z790 Nova Wi-Fi has a 20-phase VRM configuration that can drive 90 amps of current through the dual 8-pin power connectors. Performing hardcore overclocking even on a Core i9-14900K is going to be no issue for this motherboard, and neither is RAM overclocking an issue. ASRock claims this board can hit DDR5 8000 megatransfers per second thanks to the 8-layer PCB. That is perhaps the highest RAM speed I have ever seen on any DDR5 board. The only board that comes to mind that claims 8,000 megatransfers per second is the MSI X670E Ace, which, however, is a very expensive motherboard at around $600. The I/O is excellent on the Z790 Nova Wi-Fi, and you get ample USB ports. If we start counting, we get a total of 10 USB ports, of which there are just 2 USB 2.0 Type A ports, while the rest are a mix of 7 Type A and 1 Type C USB 3.2 ports. The rest of the I/O has a CMOS clear button, HDMI 2.0, DisplayPort 1.4, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, and high-quality headphone jacks with optical SPDIF. Storage enthusiasts can also rejoice because there are a whopping 6 M.2 SSD slots, 1 PCIe 5.0 and 5 PCIe 4.0, and 4 SATA 3 connectors. The ASRock Z790 Nova Wi-Fi also supports Thunderbolt through an add-in card, which makes this the ideal gamers and content creators motherboard. Aesthetically speaking, the ASRock Z790 Nova Wi-Fi is a stealthy-looking board with neon-like RGB glows, giving it a very futuristic look. The entire board is covered with heat sinks that prevent the board from being exposed, as well as keeping everything really cool. The PCIe expansion is basic, with a single PCIe 5.0x16 slot on the top, followed by another PCIe 4.0x16 slot and a PCIe 3.0x1 slot. The metal shield on the first and second slots makes the board look even more premium and should be copied by others. Compared to its competitors like the MSI Mag Z790 Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi and GIGABYTE Z790 AORUS Elite X Wi-Fi 7, the ASRock is simply a better deal. Most mid-range motherboards like the Asus TUF Z790 Gaming Plus already have 16-phase VRMs. MSI and GIGABYTE should have stepped up and matched ASRock's substantially more powerful 20-phase VRM, especially when charging a premium. The MSI Mag Z790 Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi offers a few more USB ports, but without support for Thunderbolt. All in all, the ASRock Z790 is one hell of a motherboard. It offers amazing performance and features that make up for its premium price, and even gives much more expensive motherboards a run for their money. Number 1. ASRock Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi, our top choice. The ASRock Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi is a simple board that ticks almost every box. It's a no-frills motherboard focused purely on stability and performance without breaking the bank. The motherboard is a proper upgrade over the ASRock Phantom Gaming Z790 Lightning. The newer Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi has a 16-phase VRM design instead of 14 phases on the older version. It also has built-in Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3 support, which the name obviously implies. With a 16-phase VRM, even under a full load all-core stress test at 5.5 GHz with a Core i9-14900K, the VRMs barely even hit 60 degrees Celsius. For the I/O, there is a USB 3.2 Gen 2 x 2 Type-C port, 2 3.2 Gen 2 Type-A ports, 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-A, and 1 USB 2.0 Type-A port. There are 3 audio jacks with 7.1 surround sound. We also have a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, Wi-Fi 6E, and Bluetooth 5.3 support, and an HDMI 2.1 port. Sadly, there is no CMOS clear button or BIOS flash button, which is a shame as this board's I/O is otherwise excellent. The best way to describe the design is that it's neat and tidy. ASRock has done a great job at laying out the board nicely with ample room between PCIe slots. On the top, there is a single PCIe 4.0 M2 slot, and right underneath it is a PCIe 5.0x16 slot for the graphics card. The rest of the PCIe slots are perfectly spaced apart from one another. The board has some serious competition from MSI and Asus. The slightly older Asus TUF Z790 Gaming Plus and the MSI Z790 Gaming Pro Wi-Fi are neck and neck with the ASRock Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi, and offer features that could sway anyone away from ASRock. However, the VRM heatsinks of the ASRock Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi are some of the best I have ever seen on any motherboard. The Asus TUF is still an excellent board with its 16-phase VRM, but it is getting more expensive day by day over both the MSI and ASRock. Meanwhile, the MSI Z790 Pro Gaming Wi-Fi is a stellar alternative, but with a 14-phase VRM configuration. To summarize everything, if you need an Intel motherboard that fits the criteria for offering the most stability and features to pair with the Nvidia GeForce RTX 4070, then the ASRock Z790 Lightning Wi-Fi covers a lot of ground. Its strong 16-phase VRM lets it handle any CPU, even if it's overclocked to the absolute limit, without breaking a sweat.